This is History for Grade 12, produced by Tigray Education Bureau, transmitted by Dimtsi Weyane Tigray National and FM radio satellites and social media, and also FM Maqala 104.4.
Hello students, welcome to History for Grade 12, Radio Lesson Program 2, presented by Amani Lasefa Gavra Mikael. Students, do you remember what did you learn last week? You learned about post-liberation socio-economic activity of Ethiopia. Okay, students, at the end of this lesson, you will be able to list down the problems of post-liberation schools expansion in Ethiopia. To describe what major points Emperor Haile Selassie took about shortage of teachers. To list down the detailed implementation of Ethio-Eritrean Federation and Union. Okay, students. Today, we are going to discuss about secular modern education and Ethiopia Federation. Please, student, take out your textbook, page 254 and 255. Students, do you know when secular modern education introduced to Ethiopia? Students, have you answered it? Very nice. Secular modern education was introduced to Ethiopia in the early 20th century during Emperor Haile Selassie. Post-1941, more than 90% of Ethiopian population was illiterate, that could not read and write. After liberation, Emperor Haile Selassie started the policy of expansion school and establishment of educational institutions, such as Ministry of Education and Fine Arts established in 1941. The first budget for education was adopted in 1943 and 44. The first budget for education was adopted in 1943 and 44. Secondary school and higher education opened in Addis Ababa. Example, Haile Selassie First and Wingate Secondary School founded in 1943 and 1946 respectively. By 1950, more than 500 primary and 4 secondary schools with 56,000 total students enrollment were come to existence. Correspondingly, the budget for education rose from less than $1 million to $10 million in 1950. The higher education like University College of Addis Ababa, later with other colleges, Haile Selassie University, and the new university in Asmara, opened by Catholic in 1961 and 1967 respectively. Students, can you list the problems of schools expansion in Ethiopia? Good. Let me tell you the points in detail. Unequal distribution of educational facility between urban and rural areas of the country. The second point, shortage of teaching personnel. Absence of educational equity among different regions and sections of the society. Gender imbalance or different sex ratio. Financial problems or had not provided the needed amount for rapid growth. Students, have you understand the problems? Please read your textbook, page 254 and 55. Another subtopic that we are going to deal is Ethio-Eritrean Federation and Union. In 1941, with the expulsion of the Italian colonial fascist arm from Eritrea, Eritrea was taken over by British administration as occupied enemy territory. Following with the expulsion of the fascist army from Ethiopia and Eritrea, Imperial Haile Selassie raising Ethiopian flag on May 5, 1941. The people in Asmara were holding a demonstration calling for reunification of Eritrea with Ethiopia. On the same day, the leaders of demonstration announced the formation of Unionist Party. There were different political parties existed in Eritrea. Students, do you know why British deliberately encouraged difference among the political parties of Eritrea in religion and ethnic basis? Good. I'm sure you got the answer. Let me answer the question. That is because British had a plan of separating western lowland of Eritrea and join with its colony Sudan, and the highland Eritrean joined with Tigray. Then British proposed 1943 the Eritrean highland elites formation of United Tigray. When they accepted, the separatist part formed separatist group that later evolved the separatist group Liberation Provincial Party led by Ras Tassama Asmoro. In 1946, the Muslim League was formed. It demanded independence or union with Sudan, the Muslim lowland Eritrea. The political parties, Unionists, Liberal, Provincial Party, Muslim Leagues were officially formed or registered between January and February 1947. However, in 1947, four-power commission of inquiry representing the US, USSR, Britain, and France were sent to Eritrea to determine the future of Eritrea. In this time, the Unionists and the Muslim League come to the major rivals. The four commission of inquiry assessment held in Asmara in 1948. The commission recommended as 50% of Eritrea people stood for independence, while the other voted for unity with Ethiopia, and a few chose union with Sudan. As a result, could not decide and referred the matter to United Nations General Assembly. Students, how Federation of Eritrea with Ethiopia functioned. In 1950, the UN appointed a commission of 5 men from 5 countries, such as from Burma, Guatemala, Norway, Pakistan, and South Africa to decide the fate of Eritrea. They recommended as follows. Guatemala and Pakistan opted independence. South Africa and Burma recommended federation with Ethiopia. Norway favored union with Ethiopia. But the Commission did not come to full agreement. Again, the United Nations General Assembly supported the majority opinion. USA and Britain followed the UN voted Eritrea Federation with Ethiopia in 1952. Then, Eritrea Constitution, which was written by UN, had big difference with Ethiopian Constitution. The Eritrean Parliament, from passing legislation, the political parties were organized and compete for seats in the legislation. In the first election of 1952, the pro-Ethiopian Unionist Party emerged as large seat of the parliament. That is got 32 out of 68. The founder of the Unionist Party, Tedla Bayru, became the chief executive of Eritrea. Emperor Haile Selassie against to the Eritrean federal system because the emperor did not want to accept the special status given to Eritreans. The emperor followed his own interests and translated his autocratic rule over Eritrea. The emperor antagonized all the Eritrean political parties, including the Unionist Party. In the case of this, Tedla Bayru resigned in the 1955 under pressure from the emperor and replaced by Asras Kasa, the Showan noble, and made Amharic official language instead of Arabic and Tigrinya. In November 1962, Eritrean Assembly voted itself out of existence by ending the federal arrangement of Eritrea lost its federal status and became one of the provinces of Ethiopia. This followed an internal and external opposition. The Eritrean exile founded Eritrean Liberation Movement in Cairo. Eritrean Liberation Front also later became divided into 3 internal divisions and merged in 1972. The Eritrean Liberation Front, Jabaha, and Shabia Popular both fought for supremacy from 1972 up to 1974, in which Eritrean People's Liberation Front won. The ALA, founded in 1961 by Eritrean exile in Middle East, received support from Iraq and Syria, led by Idris Awate. Okay, students, thank you very much. Let us revise our topic today. After liberation from Italian rule, Emperor Haile Selassie followed the policy of school expanding and establishment of educational institutions like primary, secondary schools, and higher educations. However, the school expansion policy had faced by a number of problems, such as unequal distribution of educational facilities between urban and rural areas, shortage of teachers, gender imbalance, financial problems, shortage of teaching personnel. Eritrean federated with Ethiopia in 1952, the first political party established immediately after the emperor raised Ethiopian flag in Addis Ababa on May 5, 1941, was the Unionist political party. It was also the most popular, which won the more seats during the first election of Eritrea in 1952. That is 32 out of 68 seats. Because of its plan, British deliberately encouraged the difference among Eritrean political parties in the religious and ethnic basis. Students, our next topic is early opposition against Emperor Haile Selassie's government. Students, can you list down the problems of school expansion in Ethiopia? Students, have you understood the problems? The problems of school expansion in Ethiopia were unequal distribution of educational facilities between urban and rural areas of the country, shortage of teaching personnel, absence of educational equity among the different regions and sections of the societies, gender imbalance or different sex ratio in students' population for more boys than girls attending in school, financial problems or had not provided the need amount for rapid growth. Have you understand the problems? Please read your textbook, page 254 and 255. Until next week, goodbye.